Toxic. Toxic, 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 toxic. I'm doing an experiment. I'm going to actually do some AI research on this. I'm going to just study this and pay attention to. I'm going to log it. I'm going to log the toxic people around me. The toxic conversations or the toxic conversations lack of. The lack of conversation is a toxic situation. Jesus is the Word. And He gave you a Bible to read. He says, go preach the Word. It's just so simple. What is the Jezebel spirit going to do? What are they going to do? What is the MK Ultra mind control going to do? How's the devil going to try to put players around you in your script to do a mind game on you? Whether it's taking away your sleep, whether it's I promise you, whether it's a bunch of noise, a bunch of distractions, a bunch of ads on your Yahoo or your email or your Gmail or whatever, on the news, the media, noise, distractions. Oh, what'd you say? You're a conspiracy theorist. I ain't talking to you. Oh, you voted for Trump? I ain't talking to you. Dehumanization. Jesus is the Word. He gave us the Word. He walked among us. He talked to everybody. He talked to people. The devils that came to him tried to shut him down. See, people try to shut you down. If you think outside the box, they have to shut you down. If you're speaking up here, and you don't always have to, you can speak on their level. But even if you speak on their level, there's some people that have to shut you down. They know it all. They know better. You got 10 times more education than they ever thought about. But they want to shut you down. What's it based on? Insecurity, fear, control, manipulation, trying to overpower somebody, trying to get them to become a copy, to think like their world view. They don't want to hear nobody else's worldview because they might get convicted of sin and righteousness and judgment of Jesus. You might speak something that hurts them, offends them, or whatever. They don't want to hear it because they have to change. But they don't want to change. They're comfortable with their status quo. And after you do it a while, when you see that person not listening, they're interrupting you, they're shutting you down, you know that they're an abuser, whether it's psychological abuse or whatever, you know that they are selfish and it's all about them and they think they've already arrived. If the man can't have a conversation with his wife or the wife can't have a conversation with the husband, what is going on here? What is going on? Abuse, mind games, control, power plays, all kinds of stuff. Insanity. Total insanity. You see it in churches. Somebody goes to talk to the pastor. What does this mean? And they get knocked down. You see it in families. You see it in all kinds of situations. On the job, lateral employee boss, lateral employees. Somebody's bitter because you have a different belief system. They're bitter at you, so they discount everything you say because they're still in little mindset. They're like little children. They're still living in the little mind. If you discount other people, yeah, okay, as a believer, if they're not Bible, I'm discounted it in my mind, but I still listen to what they have to say. Maybe I can reach in there and give them a response that will shake them out of it, you know. Now, I don't like to commune with those people, but if it's a possibility, you can pull them up, you know. But I'm talking about day-to-day stuff. I promise you, a lot of Christians are all worried and been out of shape and scared and all this. I promise you, let me tell you something that will help you. The unsaved are their own worst enemy. They destroy themselves. They destroy themselves. Look at this girl. Look at that girl tailgating me. It's all about her. You can see it in their driving. You can see it in their conversation. You can see it in their demeanor. You can see it in their body language. You can see it in their micro expressions. You can see it because it's impossible to hide when you're just selfish and about me. And you might have been abused. You might have been shut down, but you can rise above it. You might have been under a narcissist for 20 years and they just did a mind game on you. Get out. Isn't your psychological health important? Isn't your physical health important? You don't even love yourself anymore, and you're okay with that. Get up and fight. Get up and fight. This is ridiculous. This is ridiculous. I mean, you might say, why are you talking about this? I have my reasons, and I can't talk about them. But I have my reasons. And growing up, I had my reasons. I saw people around me. They couldn't have normal conversations. And I noticed the women would always, when a man started to talk, they'd leave the room or they'd just throw their hand up. They hate men. And then the men that were selfish, woman starts saying something, that's foolish talk. I ain't got time for that. But they're together. Or they're married and they don't even respect the other person, but they're still together. Is that even healthy? Is that normal? That's abnormal. Why has the abnormal become normal? In homes, in churches, in jobs, in society, in social media. Why has the abnormal become normal? Can somebody tell me? I remember watching this conversation, man and his wife. It happened a few times. I watched it a few times. She calls up. He's on the phone. He's got on speakerphone. And she says, "What do I get? What do I need to get at the grocery store?" And he's just giving her a hard time, tearing her down, and it's like. And she's so worried she might get the wrong food at the grocery store. She's so worried that she might get the wrong food at the grocery store because this person's so picky, he only eats certain things. Instead of her saying, well, you know, since you're so picky and you're like that, why don't you go to the grocery store yourself? Why not call him out on it? Because it's a dynamic of playing mind games. It turns into a cult. I'm telling you, almost every box, if you're not careful and you got to get away from it. It turns into a box, it turns into a cult, and it turns toxic. This face-to-face turning doesn't mean that one is better than the other. The reason the parts are still here, the pieces of the pie facing off, is to push the other one higher. Get away from them. If they don't want to communicate, walk away, because that's what this whole thing's about. Communion. Communication is communion. If they want to communicate, why? If they're just talking, why are you even needed? If it's all them talking, why do you exist You only exist to serve them. They don't want to be the greatest among you is a servant, but they want everybody serving them. Instead of how can I help you or something like that, it's all about me, 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 me. It's a one-way train, one-way track. I mean, toxic. There's so many toxic things going on that people don't even talk about. I mean, if you study some of these psychologists of how people have been abused and all, and they don't understand how they got abused because that's all that they've been around it so long, they don't even know what normal is. They don't know what a normal conversation is. They don't know what a healthy conversation is. They don't have a clue. It's abnormal. So I'm parking right here. Let me give you an example of how abnormal this place is. I'm parking right here and I don't want to pick it up a package. Why am I not parking over there? Because they don't clean the parking lot. I don't know if there's screws or nails or trash or wood or whatever. So I have to find a place to park, but they don't clean their parking lot. But they're going to, if they say something and they're going to blame you, say, well, where do you want me to park? Your parking lot has a bunch of trash in it. You don't pay to clean your parking lot. They're abnormal, but they want to make you think you're abnormal. People are not introspective at all. There's no introspection. There's no self-awareness. There's no kindness. There's not kind anymore. They're not patient. They can't see that when they're looking at somebody else, they're actually looking at themselves. It's time to wake up, people. This is... get out of my way. I gotta make some money. Why are you making money? Is it to help people? Or is it all about you? Oh, you're making money to help people, but you're telling people, get out of my way. You bulldoze somebody over, but you're supposed to be helping people. They've lost equilibrium. They've lost the balance. And it's everywhere you go. And I could just show 1,000 examples, and it's just gotten... I'm getting ready to take a vacation. I'm probably go up in the mountains somewhere and just sit down and just read my Bible. The whole society is upside down, people. You could talk about communication. You could talk about marriage. You could talk about friendships. You could talk about why does the corporations even exist? Why are they... I thought they were to help the people, you know. There used to be a law that says if the corporation isn't building up the community, we can shut it down. Why don't they shut them down? People are getting sick off the food and everything else. Why don't they shut it down? Because it's not about the people anymore. It's about just profit. It's extreme capitalism. Capitalism is okay and good, but when it goes to extreme capitalism, that's no different than communism, because it's no longer about helping people, it's just about the money. And then they say, well, they can start their own business. Not everybody's smart enough to start their own business. Not everybody has the opportunity. Not everybody has, well, they should get on it. Some people are retarded, or some people are... Can I have any available associates? They've been brainwashed from their family. They don't have any motivation because they were been abused from the family. I'm not God, but I can make an observation that you got a sick nation, you got an unhealthy nation.